Welp, this is a video I wasn't expecting to make. Chuggaaconroy is currently in some pretty hot water for incessantly trying to initiate foot fetish roleplay with another YouTuber called Lady Emily through Discord DMs. Now, I'm not going to read all of the messages exchanged between Chugga and Lady Emily because honestly, I'd rather not read these messages again because they are just cringe overload. His attempts at role-playing with her read like it was written by a socially awkward 13-year-old, not a grown man. If you're unaware of this situation and want to read through these DMs, I'll link her thread in the description, but just a warning, your face will definitely hurt from all the cringing you're gonna do. Anyway, I don't think there was any actual malice from Chugga. I'm neurodivergent, he's neurodivergent. More specifically, we both have autism, so I can kinda sorta understand where his actions in these DMs are coming from. And I've seen a lot of people shoot down others bringing up the fact that Chugga has autism and saying, don't bring autism into this, it doesn't excuse his actions. You're just infantilizing him and giving other people who have autism who don't act like he does a bad name. Now, to be fair, I have seen plenty of infantilization and excusal for his actions from plenty of Chugga's fans, and I'll get to them in a minute, but here's where I stand. There have been plenty of instances where I post something and no one responds, or I'm in an active conversation with someone and then all of a sudden that person stops replying to me. And I begin to think, did I say something stupid or off-putting? But here's where I differ from Chugga. I have the self-control to not incessantly write to another person, trying constantly to get their attention, all because they stopped replying to me. It's not proper social etiquette to constantly pester a person for their attention. I understand the impulse because I have the same impulse, but it is up to the individual whether or not they control the impulse. There are times in real life where I do ask a person, hey, am I bothering you because I can't read social cues for shit, so I need a firm yes or no confirmation. I'm working on that, I don't do that nearly as much as I used to. But for fucking nearly 2 months straight, he is DMing Emily, being like, hey, wanna talk? Hey, wanna talk? Hey, wanna talk? At some point, you have to take the fucking hint that the other party does not want to engage. Chugga is a grown man. He's what, 33, 34? He should know by this point to have at least the most basic respect for another person's boundaries. And that includes not incessantly DMing a person who's not responding back for 2 fucking months straight, and that also does not include having a casual conversation with someone about video games and then out of nowhere transitioning that conversation to vaguely sexual foot fetish roleplay when the other party never gave the okay for you to do that. But what's been pissing me off the most about this whole thing is Chuggaaconroy's fan base. So many of them are saying, well, why didn't Emily say she wasn't okay with them hyperfixating on her feet and her shoes? Could she have done a better job at establishing boundaries? Sure, but that doesn't absolve Chugga from any sin. A normal, non-sexual conversation you're having with a friend doesn't just immediately out of nowhere derail into you fetishizing their feet and their shoes. Putting the ball entirely in Emily's court, saying, well, she should have just established that she wasn't okay with this, insinuates that that's normal behavior. No, there is an obvious disconnect with how Chugga interacts with other people, or at least how he interacts with women, if he thinks it's okay to immediately go from talking about Zelda to talking about how much he likes their feet. It should be common knowledge for most people that if you're talking to a platonic friend who doesn't think of you as anything more than just a friend, then you shouldn't be making creepy, fetishy comments towards them. Chugga is an adult, in charge of his own actions, and he even wrote on Twitter that he is sorry for these actions and acknowledges that they are wrong. He has yet to make a full statement as of recording this video, but one should be coming out soon. And if he was able to acknowledge that his own actions were wrong, then you don't need to keep running defense for him. A lot of people seem to have their brains shut off surrounding this because they refuse to believe that their wholesome, happy-go-lucky YouTuber is human just like anyone else and is prone to making bad decisions. You would think that after other wholesome YouTubers like Boogie2988 State and the Completionist were exposed for being shitbags, people would finally realize that this whole wholesome facade that a lot of YouTubers play up as nothing more than just that, a facade. Now don't get me wrong, I don't think Chugga's at Boogie or especially Completionist levels, but I'm just saying, all of these wholesome YouTubers almost certainly do not act in real life the same way they do when the camera is on, or in Chugga's case when the microphone is turned on. They can certainly say and do things you wouldn't expect them to say and do behind the scenes because they don't have the pressure of an audience watching them at the moment. This is why you don't get attached to content creators, especially large content creators who you have next to a 0% chance of having a friendship with. Because if you put them on such a large pedestal, they're only going to let you down in the end. Throughout the years, I've seen so many Chugga fans damn near deify him and say shit like, "This is my wholesome YouTuber. He's been my idol since I was a little kid. He will never get into any controversy because he is such a great guy. Do you fucking know him personally?" Chances are you only know him through the videos he puts out on YouTube, and maybe at most you exchanged a few sentences with him at a convention or whatever the fuck, but bottom line is, stop acting like he's your best fucking friend. Was it a little disheartening for me to read those DMs? Yeah, I've liked Chugga for a long time. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I watch him religiously or anything. I only tune in when he's playing a game I'm interested in, which, as of right now, the last time I did tune into an LP of his was his Galaxy 2 LP from like, what, 5 years ago? I don't care about Pokemon or Xenoblade, so his channel hasn't been something I've been tuning in regularly to for a while now. But even if I was a frequent viewer of Chugga's, I wouldn't be shattered and scrambling to defend him like so many Chugga fans seem to be doing right now, because even with content creators I personally enjoy, I can understand that they are nothing more than humans who make content that I enjoy. They're not my friends, I don't know them beyond what they publicly release on the internet, so therefore I don't feel any attachment, and if any content creator I like gets into hot water, I'm just like, well, that sucks, and move on. Now, it's not like I think Chugga is some irredeemable monster. It's not like he was caught grooming children, or sexually assaulting people, or at least, goddamn, I hope he wasn't doing those things. But if this controversy begins and ends with him just being a weirdo who can't shut the fuck up about his weird fetishes, then I feel this can be rectified with a proper apology to Emily and anyone else he has wronged, and him taking proper steps to better recognize other people's boundaries. This may put a dent in his reputation because, let's be honest, going forward, outside of his audience, he's most likely just going to be known as the weird foot fetish guy instead of the wholesome ooh-woo Nintendo Let's Player. But I don't think his career is over like a lot of other people are saying. That's a huge overreaction, again, barring any bombshell like him being a groomer or anything heinous like that coming out. If or when he Let's Plays another game that I'm interested in watching him play, I will probably tune into that. So Chugga will most likely be fine in the end, but let this be a lesson in how stupid it is to idolize YouTubers and think they can do no wrong. No one's gonna fucking listen, but it's a good lesson regardless. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.